Good morning, traders. Welcome to the live trading room. I hope you're all doing well this morning. Before we get started, just to give some clarity to some of the new members, just going to go through the website and just go through how it works. So for the new members, especially, this will be important information. So if you look under members, these are all the pages that you did not have access to before you joined. So you've got access to all of these pages. What are all these pages? So these are the different groups of pairs. So we've got US dollar pairs, yen, commodities, pound, euro, cross pairs. So cross pairs are those pairs that do not have the US dollar in them. Out in New Zealand, New Zealand CAD, New Zealand Chief, CAD Chief, those kind of pairs. These are the cross pairs. Cryptocurrencies, indices. We also have trade setups. If you've attended the course, you will also have access. You will be able to open the page, but you will not be able to or play the videos. Okay, so those that only have access to those that have only monthly subscriptions, you'll be able to open the page, but you'll not be able to access the course. And for the rest of the pages, let's go through to the US dollar pairs. So if you look at the US dollar pairs and any other group of pairs for that matter, what you will have here is 4 time frames. So you will have euro US dollar in 4 time frames. The 1 hour is updated almost twice in a day, as you've seen. If you're following on Twitter, you'll see every time we do the updates. So like right now, we are currently busy with the updates for the London charts in the afternoon. If there's any changes, we'll update for the New York as well, and then so forth. So here, what you will find is the video for the week of all these US dollar pairs. So that is posted up every week. This video changes every week. So this video details the charts here so that you can understand how we are looking at the charts. As you can see, this video is starting from the weekly. We're starting from the weekly chart, explaining the weekly chart all the way down to the 1 hour time frame and why we are holding the views that we are holding. That is euro US dollar, and that is how the website works. Now on the charts, just open one here. On the charts, you will find there are blue box areas that we mark like this. Now, those blue box areas are trading areas, which means when you get to that area, you can actually take a trade to the upside. But when you take a trade, you need to understand where we place the stop loss. So for example, if we take the trade from the blue box, the stop loss will be at the 1,618. Okay, so if you do not have that understanding, so do not just take the trade. So then you have to wait. If you do not have the understanding of the strategy, then you will wait for us to post the trades under trade setups. Because this kind of trades, you need to understand the strategy. But we're simply going to mark the blue boxes. So you take the trade there, and then but also you need to understand the risk management. You need to understand risk management. When we take a trade, we don't just take any, we don't just take any position size. So your position must be sized properly so that even if you lose a trade, it is not a train smash. So you remove yourself psychologically from the trades. And that is one of the things that we cover in the course. So the course covers the strategy as well as risk management. How do you position your sizes? So that if you're losing the trade, you lose 2%, and if you're making money, you make the risk to reward ratio that you would have calculated before you take the trade. So look out for these blue box areas. You'll find them in 4, 1 hour, or the daily time frames. That means that's the trade that we're looking at. Otherwise, if you don't understand that fully, you can wait for these trade setups here. So the trade setups are under members as well, members area as well. So you'll find them here. So we update the trade setups whenever they confirm. So what we're going to be going through here during these live trading rooms is to identify these trade setups. Okay, we can only put so many trade setups here on the website. So we put in some high probable trade setups on the website. So for example, if you look at Euro New Zealand, all of these trade setups have played out except for pound CAD, which has just gone sideways, actually made a pull to the upside. So these trades have been good. So that is what we're putting up here, high probable trades. But otherwise, these charts here on the rest of the pairs are basically trade setups themselves in the blue box areas. Okay. So what I'm doing here, for those that have also purchased the course, I understand that you're all watching the course currently. Now, if you're watching the course and you've got questions regarding what we're discussing in the course, or you've got a chart that you want me to look at, or you want assistance on, you can just bring that chart up. You can post it up on Slack or under direct message. Send us a TradingView link. This is how you send the link. Do not send a screenshot, or okay, you can send a screenshot, but do not take a picture with a mobile phone and send it. So what you do here, you press Control S. If you press Alt S on TradingView, you will get a screenshot of this chart as it is, that screen. Then you can send me that screen via Slack if you're on Slack, or any other method for whatsoever. Then I will open that screen up and give you guidance on that. It works better once we are done with the live trading room, and then I assist you at the end of the session. That makes it easier. It is not possible for me to answer every individual question on the inbox and give guidance with a text. It is not possible practically. So this is the best way we can assist you with if you've got any issues regarding the course. All right. So let's get started. We have done an update on our charts yesterday on our trade setups. Let's go through that before we start looking for new trade setups. Let's go through the trade setups. Let's look at Euro US dollar first. So Euro US dollar, trade setup on Euro US dollar. Let's have a look here. That is not a trade setup. That is, so if you look at Euro US dollar, just to give you an example, the difference between what we have there on the trade setup and this chart here that you see under the pairs, this had a blue box here. Now, where do you take it from the blue box? Do you take it inside the blue box? As soon as it touches the blue box, that is a trigger. That is a trigger for a trade. Okay, so blue box is for aggressive traders, because when you take it from the blue box, you don't necessarily have a confirmation from the indicator that that's going to reverse. So you're taking it based on structure alone. So the trade setups are based on the strategy and the indicator. So we already had an impulse here. This is actually the latest chart from yesterday, but that was way before. We took the trade around here on this triangle here. We'll go through to that. That's where I think around 1880 when we had this triangle. So this was supported by the indicator, by the structure, and we're looking for this to push to the upside. And that trade is going well so far. Let's go to Euro US dollar and just show you that. Let's go and open that trade setup, so you can see where that comes from. So that was the trade setup on Euro US dollar at 1940. We currently at 2066. So this has already gone about 120, 130 pips to the upside. So we've gone around this level. This trade is already, you should already be risk-free on this trade. Put your stop loss here. So that means you're not going to lose that trade. It's a risk-free trade. And then we're going to be running it to the upside. So if you look at this trade, this is a second trade. It's actually a second trade from what you would have taken here on the blue box. So this blue box has been projected weeks back. So this was another one. This was an entry here. It actually made a three-wave structure, running triangle. This is a running triangle. As you can see, running triangle is the only triangle where you've got your B that breaks above the end of the swing. A, B, C, D, E, and then it pushes up here. Textbook triangle, and that's why we entered right here. That was the pinpointed entry here on Euro US dollar. So when we took the trade, we said you need to be mindful of the fact that this could actually be 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5, and then we're going to get a pullback. But we said we are not going to let the trade go just simply because we are expecting this. Because what if this does not come, and what if this is actually already the 5 waves here and it is done? So that's why we said we're going to take the trade and we're going to manage it. And we did that live during this trading room session. Okay, so that is euro US dollar, and that is how it's playing out. Let's go through the chart now. As you have seen here, we are pushing up higher like that. Let's see how many pips so far. That's already about 130 pips. This was the entry at 1940. 1940 at current levels, about 140 pips. Now, will this make still 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we get a pullback? It is still possible that we're going to get a pullback and then upside, but we are already risk-free, so that trade is safe because we are not going to lose it, so we're just going to let it run. So the next target on euro US dollar, if we start getting a corrective structure from current levels or a little bit higher, we'll be looking to take it back to the previous high at 123, 124. Okay, so let's see if we're going to get that, and then we're going to continue to the upside. That is euro US dollar. So the trade is still in play. Let's go to euro New Zealand. So yesterday we looked at euro New Zealand. We saw the pullback, and we saw the pullback. We said that's not reversal, because as you can see here, we're at the top, we are below 50. So this is still bearish, but the current move to the downside looks to be corrective. So if we've got this sharp move here and we're coming down in this 3, there's a likelihood that we make a bounce here before we drop. So this trade is also still in play. You need to move it to break even at around these levels, so that whatever happens here, you are not going to lose this trade. Okay, so that is euro New Zealand, still a good looking trade, still a good one to hold. As you can see, the indicator supporting that, still bearish. We're still looking for this to continue all the way down, all the way down. Okay, has already dropped. So it was a good week last week, has already dropped about 200 pips, easy 200 pips. We're still expecting more to the downside. There was, let's just open the chart. I didn't open it. So that was euro New Zealand at this level. Okay. Let's go through pound Audi. Pound Audi dropped 300 pips to around these levels and actually started pulling back. Let's see what that pullback means. Yesterday we had a single wave here, and I said this still looks bearish when we're still looking for downside, but let's see how this has played out. So because it looks like it has now made a deeper 3-wave structure like this, and we'll be expecting this. Let's have a look at pound Audi and update pound Audi. Let's update these before we look at new trade setups. So that is pound Audi. So pound Audi is still bearish. Yesterday we were here. We said expect continuation to the downside because that is what we had. We had the indicator right at the top. We had this one dropping below 50. We have exactly the same setup, except this time we already have a double correction. Yesterday it was a single correction. So now it makes sense that we actually have a 3-wave pullback. Now we expect a continuation to the downside. This is actually another trade setup. Okay, this can actually be another trade setup. Only thing is that it's the pullback is a bit sharp. Let's put this here. Let's put this line here. So this is how you will trade this one, guys. And we actually went back to entry. almost reversed all those gains. So this is another tranche, and this is how we will manage this. Put in an alert. So we wait for this, for our candle to close below this one. Let's put in an alert on pound Audi. This is another one. Okay, so I'm gonna put this a little bit lower so that when I get an alert, it's already breaking down, okay? Now from there, you can see the indicators are confirming what we are looking at. The indicators, we are at the top and we are dropping below 50. Okay, so that is the expectation. So let's see if we're gonna get that. So that is another opportunity for those that had missed it earlier. Let's look for a short position. Guys, it has to confirm first. So we will look to be entering around these areas. It has to confirm. So far, we don't have confirmation. And we'll put in a modest target for another one here. Remember, the big move is over 2,000 pips, but we're not going to trade all 1,000 pips in one setup, in one trade. So we'll take 3 times the reward that we're going to get here. I'm going to measure now the number of stop loss pips. This is ridiculously high. That's too much. So let's see here. So if the stop loss is that high and your account is not able to take it, let's measure this. Then you're going to have to wait for another correction in the 1 hour. From here to here, we've already come down. It's actually 138 pips. And if we're going to take it right at the bottom, it's going to be over 200 pips. So this one, you're going to have to wait for another correction here on the 1 hour. But if you are fine with a 200 pip stop, that's still okay, because remember your target here is over 600 pips or 700 pips. So that 200 pips is nothing compared to the reward. So let's just watch this one here. You may get a 1 hour pullback. You will get a 1 hour pullback. So you can take that 1 hour pullback and then you put in a tighter stop. So you just need to be a little bit patient and then wait for this. So we'll wait for this to confirm, then we'll post it up. At the moment, we don't have the confirmation as yet, so we're not posting it up yet. Pound New Zealand, this one you can see the RSI is even dropping a little bit more. We are waiting for exactly the same thing. It is another trade setup that we've got. It was actually our chart of the week. This was our chart of the week. So you're looking for this. So I'll put this a little bit lower, just like that one. So whichever one confirms first, Pound New Zealand looks likely to be the one to go first. Same thing. That's how we will manage this. That's how we'll manage that. So we are at the top. We are dipping below 50. Structure is telling us that. Okay. Let's see if we've gone through all the trade setups. Okay, New Zealand, Audi, Euro. We've looked at Pound CAD. Pound CAD has gone sideways. Let's see, has actually made a push to the upside. Let's open it. Went significantly higher than what we expected it to. So from the beginning of, from yesterday, from the weekly outlook, we were looking for Pound CAD to just give us this and continue to the downside. It has now broken above that level. Let's go through the bigger structure here. Let's look at the daily. Now, will this push to the upside? If it does, then it changes the structure that we looked at in January. Because in January, we expected this to do that from the top here. Not just for me. From January, we expected this. Let me just switch off. You'll see the chart we did in January. We expected this to push up higher, come down here, and then a move to the downside. So we had already got the move to the upside, the downside. We are currently in this correction. Is this going to continue pushing up higher? We're still holding our bias to the downside. And this is why we are at the top here. We've just popped up above 50 here. So this could be a short squeeze. Okay, could be a short squeeze. Let's go through the pound CAD chart. Let's have a look at the weekly chart on pound CAD chart. Guys, look at these weekly charts. You saw what I did on during the weekly outlook. I was showing you the charts that we did in January and how they are now playing out after a quarter. Obviously, a weekly chart takes forever to play out. That's why we can only look at it after a couple of weeks, a couple of months. So if you look at pound CAD weekly chart, we've already made this move. That's the move you saw forecasted. We're currently here around these levels. Now we're currently making that correction that we're speaking about currently. Is that view still valid? If it pushes up higher, that means the whole weekly chart is needs to be updated. But so far, we are still holding that bias, and we're looking for this one to continue to the downside. So that means we need to watch this corrective structure here. We need to watch this current corrective structure and see if we're going to get this move. The reason why we're looking at that is because we are looking at this. We've been looking at this structure like this. I'm not going to go through all of it. I'm sure Sandile will cover that with you during the pound analysis. You've actually already seen this. Okay, so watch out for the updates on this one. So we're looking for this one to drop again to the downside. If it pushes up higher, changes the whole weekly outlook on this. So those are all the trade setups that we've got currently. So yesterday we discussed some new setups, although not posted, but you saw those confirming. Let's have a look at let's look at those setups that we discussed. We had a discussion on pound Audi, not pound Audi, Audi US dollar. Audi US dollar is now a trade setup. It's ready for a push to the upside. Even though we didn't get to the blue box, we've made a 3-wave structure. So that's enough. That's all. So we didn't have to go to the blue box there. It has already come out of the structures. That means we've got our WXY corrective structure. So any pullback on Audi, especially on the 4-hour, we're looking to take it up higher. Yesterday on the 4-hour or the 1-hour, we saw this. This is where we were yesterday. We saw that candle. We saw this candle breaking out of this corrective structure, and we had the trade set up here. Unfortunately, this candle broke up too high for us to get a good risk to reward ratio there. But that's what we saw. The RSI was above 50, and this was at the bottom, and the structure was confirming upside. That's why you see Audi pushing up higher like that. New Zealand did the same. We looked at this yesterday at the same time when this was breaking up higher, made a correction, and then pushes up higher like that. There was New Zealand. So still pushing up higher. So just to show the bigger structure, any deeper pullback or any 4-hour correction on this, we'll be looking for this one. We'll be looking for a pullback and then upside. That is on New Zealand US dollar. Let's watch out for that. US dollar ZAR. Still showing us continuation to the downside. The US dollar ZAR is not ready to, we're expecting this one to break lower here. We are still breaking lower. We're still going to see more downside. We have not seen any sign of reversal yet, but we'll be expecting at least US dollar ZAR to return back to the 50% of this whole move that started in 2020. Let's go daily. At least back here. So we're looking for US dollar ZAR to at least take us back, even if it's at the 50% of this. But we're still coming down here. Pound yen. Let's have a look at the yen, pound, the yen peso. Yesterday we were looking at this. Let's go to the 4-hour. We're looking for this to make one more down here and push to the upside. That's because we're expecting this to possibly make an expanding flat. But as you can see, it has simply made a running flat. Now that means this is done. That is complete. We are now looking for 156, 157 here on pound yen. So any setup on the 4-hour, be patient. We've missed the first move. We've missed this first move. That's fine. We're not worried about that. So we didn't trade this. But remember, this still has to go to about 156, 157. So that's nothing. So you take a trade that is high probable when you've got a setup here, a confirmation here, either on the 4 or the 1 hour. That's how we're going to be looking at that. So watch out for a deeper pullback. So we've made a running flat there. US dollar yen is playing out as forecasted so far. Let's go to US dollar yen. So this is the forecast on US dollar yen. We wanted it to get to 108, which it did. Now we're expecting the reversal from the blue box. That is 108. That was yesterday. Now looks like we are making a reversal around those areas, exactly around those areas. As you can see, this is the blue box area. Why is it off? So that is the blue box on pound US dollar, or not pound, US dollar yen. Just want to project it again. That's the blue box we projected yesterday. That's 1, 2, and the 3. So you see, but I'm not saying that this is ready. If you're taking the trade, your stop loss needs to be at 1,61, at 107, about 100 pips. Okay, about 100 pips from current levels. So that is the disadvantage of taking from the blue box, that your stop loss is wide, but the advantage is that you get a good risk to reward ratio if it starts playing out like that. Let's just go back to that chart. So we've rallied down into the blue box. Let's see if we get our reversal. So the trade that we'll be looking at here, guys, is this. If we get a nice clear impulse, we'll be looking for this. That trade will start to set up there. Euro yen. So Euro yen, we looked at this as a triangle yesterday, which failed to break up higher. That means it was making a different structure as follows. It was actually making a running flat. We actually made a running flat. We've just broken above that structure, confirming more upside. I only saw this one after the break, but we're still currently in that candle. That's a flat correction there. That is a 3-wave structure there. Now we've broken up higher. So we were expecting the break to come here because this was the triangle. This is where the triangle was. Did not happen. So that means that is not a triangle, but rather a flat correction. Which is now broken out of this structure at the top here. So upside is now open. Any pullback in the, even on the 1 hour, look for 1 hour pullbacks, you'll get more upside. So Euro yen, look for 1 hour corrections. This is not a setup on the 1 hour. So if we get a pullback here, this resets here, this remains to be above 50, then we're going to ride it to the top. Chiefs the same. We need to get a pullback or a 1 hour correction, something like this for a continuation to the upside. CAD. Running flat. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. WXY corrective structure. Now we've got a pulsing move. In the 1 hour, look for any setup, guys. Look for any setup for upside. So KDN looks like a very good setup compared to the others. So because this one you'll take like this. We can see that it's a corrective structure. The whole thing is a corrective structure. So this is how you will look at this. So typically when this is out of this structure, out of this channel, that will be the end of the correction. Would want this to be at the bottom, this one to be above 50, would want this one to be at the bottom. So if that breaks up here, we start correcting, we've got that setup, the indicator confirms the same, then we're looking for upside. So we've got a nice 3-wave structure here. We've got a nice impulse. Now we're going to be looking for this one to give us a move to the upside. Retest the previous highs at 88 or even more. That's looking very good. New Zealand yen. Yesterday we looked at exactly this. We wanted it to push up higher like that. Just made a deeper correction as follows. We're looking for this. That's what we looked at yesterday. 1, 2, 3. Looking for upside. So let's see if this one can go and retest the previous highs there. Audi yen, same thing. Also pull back. We're looking for this one to give us a push to the upside from there. Just made this structure a bit deeper. So we are also looking for that to go and retest the top there. It is a 3-wave structure. We're looking for this previous highs. Any pullbacks, you look to take it up. Gold. Doesn't seem ready to go after all. If you see our update on gold, it's like this. And we're looking for downside. Although we did look at a possibility that if we get a confirmation for a trade setup from here, that means gold has ended the move here and it's ready for an upside. But it looks like we are not done. We are going to get this one to come down again. So be careful with that move to the downside. It may not be a move to the downside. It may just be a 3-wave pullback like this. And then we push up higher as expected. So let's have a look here at the indicators. We're still below 50 on the 1 hour. Let's look at the 4 hour. So 4 hour looks like we are going to drop. 1, 2, 3. Let's wait for this. So if we're getting this one here, we dip below 50, we start getting a trade setup. We're going to see this low here before we push up higher. Right, so that is gold. Silver cannot go higher without gold. As much as we focused at silver up, we need to see a confirmation here. But just like gold, this looks like a 3-wave structure to the upside. A 3-wave corrective structure. And if that is the case, we're going to see silver continue lower. So this will be very telling. We need to see if this is going to dip below 50 here. Otherwise, if that does not happen, that means this is a continuation pattern. We're going to see upside here. That's platinum. Also showing downside here. We showed this yesterday. As not yet confirmed, we still just did this and we are going sideways with this corrective structure. That should break lower, supporting downside on commodities. Brent crude did not drop as expected. We're expecting this 1, 2, 3. We pushed up a little bit higher and then downside. Do we have divergence between these 2 points? If we do have divergence, then we're going to expect this one to reverse, but we're still pushing up higher here. So that means there's no divergence, and oil may have made this move, which could be the end of the move 1, 2, 3 here, which could be all the correction, and we're starting a move to the upside in 5 waves. But we're not going to get involved until we get a deeper corrective structure that is supported by the indicator as well. So we're just going to be watching that. Pound chief. Now pound chief So I was checking pound chief yesterday. We were looking for pound chief to come one more down, did not give us that. Let's switch off here. So pound chief looks to have made a flat an expanding flat correction here, which is this. And this actually complies to the guideline. This is actually a running flat because it does not break the low here. To confirm that, we need to get a setup for upside from around these levels. And we also need to make sure that the A and the B complies to the guidelines. So that is our B. So to check the guidelines, we need to take the fib retracement. To check if B is still valid, we take it from the start of A to the end of A. You will see that B falls exactly around 138. Okay, 138, which is within the guideline of B between 105 and 138. So this is a valid flat or running flat. Now we'll be looking for this to continue to the upside as follows. So that means in the next coming sessions, we're going to see pound chief resume a move like this and then upside. So let's just wait for the current structure to confirm where we are. We need to see this corrective structure here. Pound CAD we already discussed together with Audi New Zealand, Euro pound. Euro pound, that's the structure. It means we are not going up as yet. So we discussed that if we don't get this to push up higher, that is the structure that we're going to get. So now get sell setups here. You can see that the pound is pushing up higher. So that means this should push lower. Any trade setup for downside, you take it on Euro pound. So that reversal is not the end of that move. It was actually to make this running flat as well. Euro Audi. Euro Audi. Trade from yesterday. We didn't post this because it was not quite giving us a proper structure. This looks a little bit too sharp. Now, if you're taking the trade, it may take you out because this is what we might get here on Euro Audi. This can push up higher and give us this structure before it drops. But if you took the trade, don't just take it off. Leave it where you took it to remember why you took the trade. That is Euro Audi. It's not gone anywhere. We actually almost just back there at entry. New Zealand trade setup, we already discussed it. Euro CAD, it's going to push to the upside. Look for the 4-hour push correction, continuation to the upside. That is a setup on the 1 hour. That is a setup on the 1 hour. Euro CAD, let me put this with an alert. It's going to push to the upside. So a close bid above this confirms further upside. Euro Chief. No trade setup there. Is this the start of the upside? If it is, this looks a bit too deep for this to start upside. We were expecting this. So we can get 1, 2, 3 here. 1, 2, 3 there, and then downside. So we watch this one as well. No trade setup there. Audi, New Zealand. This is where we were yesterday. We've dropped around these levels. We're just seeing further upside. The idea with that, we're looking for this to do this. One more bounce, one more down before upside. But just looking at the indicator, this was telling us this is going to drop. We have dropped, but it's not a trade setup. Audi CAD, no trade setup there. Audi Chief, 4 hour, there's no trade setup, or rather there is. This is what we have on the 4 hour. This is a trade setup. It's already confirmed upside with a break above this. So you're getting another entry here. So it's still safe to take it to the upside. New Zealand CAD. No new trade set up there. New Zealand Chief. Nothing here either. 3 waves up. We're looking for this to come down. Nothing on CAD Chief either. Have the indices reached the end of the moves? Not yet. So we'll skip through the indices as well. Bitcoin. Let's go to the cryptocurrencies. So if you look at the cryptocurrencies, we've made these sharp moves to the downside. As indicated yesterday, this push to the upside is going up in 3 waves. This is why you see pound, or rather Bitcoin, doing that and now giving us this corrective structure. It would not be a surprise. It would not be surprising to see Bitcoin do this. Okay, we've got this already. It wouldn't be surprising to see Bitcoin do this, make one more down before pushing up higher. Because that will be simply a move down, a correction, and a move down before pushing up higher. So let's watch this. So yesterday we looked at this, or even on Sunday, these to be possibly making a flat as follows. So this can actually be that flat that we're looking at, and it will play out as follows: 3 waves down, 3 waves up, 1, 2, 3, like that. That's why I'm expecting this. This can do that. That's where you see the expectation of this structure before coming down. Okay, so that is a Bitcoin, Ethereum, the same. So we could get here, these are 3 waves to the upside. This is a corrective structure. And we're gonna get 3 waves up before we come down. Let's see how Ethereum plays out, as well as Litecoin. Let's look at Ripple as well. So Ripple is making a 3-wave structure, 1, 2, 3. So Ripple is gonna do this. Maybe around these areas will be an opportunity to ride on to Ripple again. Let's look at the whole structure on Ripple. This could actually be the wave 3 that we'll be looking at. If we get that pullback as follows, and around these areas, it would be very nice to buy Ripple at around these levels. Because if it goes from here and pushes up back up to around those levels, that will be 3 times more than the investment that you would have put on Ripple. Let's look at some of the small coins as well, the altcoins. ADA, Doge. What else do I have? I want to look at the Binance coin as well, because there's a lot of opportunities on these coins. Let's put Binance here. I'm actually glad that we're getting these pullbacks, because ADA is within this corrective structure. Now, if ADA comes to around these levels, this is a nice area to accumulate, because that is a structural area. So if you've got some investment, I showed this structure yesterday as well. If you've got some money to put on for the long term, let's see here, that's 1, 2. We'll expect this. So around these levels, when this move to the downside is done, we'll expect one more down. But above this, we're looking for much higher. ADA can rally much higher, and we can also get over 300% return here on investments. So there's a lot of opportunities. They are going to be sideways for a while here. So just wait for these to push to the upside. Put in some money for the long term. You can even get 6 times more. Look at this candle here. You can even get sent 6 times more or whatever here. So the small coins looking very, very interesting, but you need to be patient now because they're pulling back. So you need to put in money that you can afford to part ways with for a long time. Maybe a couple of months, yes. Because after a couple of months here, you're going to make such a lot of money. So ADA is currently at $1.18, Doge 41 cents, a mere 41 cents, Ripple $1.26, but we're looking for this to pull back. So these are good coins to put your money on, and they are cheap other than Bitcoin, which is now so expensive. So guys, for the long term, don't only just look at the long term. So somebody once said, most people estimate what they can do in a year and underestimate what they can do in 10 years. So just imagine if you had gotten the triple trade. For those that got it, well done. If you put in $100,000 there, you've made triple the investment when we hit the $2 mark, because that was at 68 cents, almost 300%. So the coins, guys, they've got a lot of opportunities. So look at the coins, track the coins. All right, that's all for today, guys. Let me stop the video here. Those that have questions, I'll attend to them now shortly. Cheers, guys. Look out for the technical outlook later in the afternoon.